I discovered my girlfriend had gone on a hidden trip with her ex, so I locked down our joint bank account and left her stranded. I'm 28 years old, male, and I genuinely thought I had my life sorted out. I have a solid job, live in a decent apartment, and up until recently, I had a girlfriend, let's call her C, who I imagined I'd spend my life with. We had been together for almost 3 years. Sure, it wasn't perfect, what relationship is, but I was committed. I trusted her, at least I did. But over the last few months, something started to feel off. You know that little voice in your head that says, something's not right, even when you don't have any evidence? That gut feeling started nagging at me. C began acting strange with her phone, keeping it glued to her side, angling the screen away anytime she was texting. She suddenly had all these work conferences and girls' weekends, and anytime I asked about them, she'd get short or defensive. At first, I didn't want to push. I didn't want to be that suspicious guy who constantly hounds his girlfriend. I convinced myself I was being dramatic. But that unease didn't go away. We had a joint savings account we set up together to put money away for a future house. I figured if something weird was happening, it might show up there. Then one afternoon, I noticed it. $3,000 withdrawn in one go. No prior discussion, no message, nothing. I tried to stay cool. I didn't want to assume the worst, so I brought it up gently. Hey, babe, any idea what this $3,000 withdrawal was for? You buy something big? She barely looked up from her phone. Oh, yeah, I booked a trip with M&T, she said nonchalantly, like she'd just ordered takeout. I looked at her, trying to keep my tone level. A girls' trip? You didn't mention anything about that. She rolled her eyes, clearly annoyed. I didn't think I needed to narrate every detail of my plans. That felt like a punch to the gut. I wasn't asking her to run every move by me, but $3,000? When we were supposed to be saving? It's just, that's a lot of money, see, and we're saving for a house, remember? She looked at me like I was being unreasonable. We'll earn it back. Chill, it's not the end of the world. Her flippant response pissed me off, but I let it slide. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe she just needed a break, and I was turning this into more than it was. Still, that night I couldn't sleep. Something about it gnawed at me. So, I broke a rule I had never broken in our relationship. I went through her phone. I hated doing it. But sometimes your gut knows before your brain catches up. And there it was. A chain of texts, booking confirmations, emails, flights, hotel reservations, all of it. She wasn't going on a girls' trip. She was going on a getaway. With her ex. I sat there stunned, staring at her screen, my heart thudding in my chest. This wasn't a last-minute plan. They'd been arranging it for weeks. My stomach turned. It wasn't even about the cash anymore. It was the betrayal, the deception, the complete lack of respect. I could have woken her up and confronted her. But something inside me broke. I wanted her to feel the same kind of shock I was feeling. So, I stayed calm. Pretended nothing was wrong. I even kissed her goodbye the next morning and wished her a great trip. As soon as she was out the door, I logged into our bank account and froze every cent. I didn't care whether it was mature or not. I was angry, heartbroken, and I wasn't going to let her get away with it. A few hours later, she called. "What the hell did you do?" she shouted the second I picked up. I leaned back in my chair, calm but cold. "What do you mean?" "My card isn't working. It's being declined everywhere. What did you do?" "I locked the account," I said flatly. Seemed fair after finding out you're vacationing with your ex. Silence. Just heavy breathing on the other end. Then the lies started. It's not what you think. Don't insult me, see. I saw the messages. The flight details. The hotel reservations. You've been planning this. She stuttered, still trying to weave a story that made it sound like I was misunderstanding everything. Why? I asked, my voice steady but colder than I intended. If you wanted to be with him, why didn't you just leave me? I didn't want to hurt you, she said quietly. I laughed, a bitter, hollow laugh that didn't sound like it came from me. You didn't want to hurt me? So you lied, stole our savings, and went on a secret trip with your ex? That was your strategy to protect my feelings? She paused. Then her tone flipped like a switch. You know what? Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with that stupid house, I wouldn't have felt so suffocated. You're always planning for the future, and you forgot about me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was trying to twist this into being my fault? Why didn't you just talk to me? You couldn't be honest instead of sneaking around? She let out a sigh, annoyed. You don't understand. I needed time away. I needed to think. With your ex? That's who you needed space with? He's just a friend, she snapped. You're overreacting. I clenched my jaw. Right, just a friend. That's why you had to lie. That's why you had to hide everything. She didn't respond. I could tell she was scrambling to find some angle, some excuse that would make it all okay. We're done, I said at last, breaking the silence. What? You're ending things over this? You really have the audacity to act shocked right now? You lied. You took our money. You planned a romantic getaway with your ex. What did you expect? You can't just leave me here, she yelled, her voice rising in panic. How am I supposed to get home? I felt nothing. No regret, no sympathy. Not my concern, I said. You made your bed. Now lie in it. And I hung up. The days afterward were chaotic. I packed up and left the apartment, removed my name from the lease, shut down every account and utility that was in my name. I blocked her from my phone, my socials, even my email. I wasn't going to let her have any access to my life anymore. I was done. A few weeks later, word got back to me that she was telling people I abandoned her, that I left her broke and alone for no reason, playing the victim. When a mutual friend told me, I couldn't help but laugh. That was classic C, twisting the narrative to make herself look innocent. But I wasn't going to sit quietly. I told my side of the story. Every piece. The deception, the stolen money, the secret trip. Some people were shocked. Others weren't surprised. They knew what she was like. Most took my side. Some didn't. Whatever. I wasn't wasting energy trying to change their minds. The truth, it hurt. But not because I lost her. The pain came from realizing the person I loved didn't really exist. She was just pretending. A mask I didn't know she was wearing. But people show you who they really are. Eventually. You just have to pay attention. And when they do, you either pretend you didn't see it or you do what I did, walk away. Last I heard, she was crashing at a friend's place. Couldn't pay her rent. Apparently, she tried to get a refund for the trip, but the flights and hotel were non-refundable. $3,000 spent on a lie. Part of me wonders if her ex even stayed with her or left her behind just like she deserved. But I don't really care anymore. What I've taken from all this is simple. You can't control what others do. You can only decide how you respond. When someone betrays your trust, when they lie, cheat, manipulate, you have to be willing to let go. No matter how much it hurts in the moment. Yeah, I'm angry that I wasted years on her. But more than that, I'm angry at myself for ignoring all the red flags. The truth was right there. I just didn't want to believe it. People don't change just because you love them. Sometimes the only way to heal is to cut them out completely. A few months have passed since everything went down, and honestly, my life has started to feel like my own again. At first, it was weird. The silence, the lack of texts, of calls, of someone waiting at home. But over time, that silence turned into peace. I started sleeping better, eating better, even smiling without forcing it. I got a new place, smaller, quieter, but mine. No shared accounts, no hidden passwords, just a clean slate. For a while, I couldn't trust anyone. Every time I got a message from a woman, I'd question their intentions. I hated feeling that way. Paranoid, guarded, cynical. But I guess it's part of the healing process. You don't just walk away from a betrayal like that and magically go back to normal. You rebuild, piece by piece. One day, I got a message request on Instagram. It was from a name I didn't recognize at first. Then it hit me, C's ex, the guy she had gone on the trip with. I debated even opening it. Part of me wanted to ignore it, block him, pretend he didn't exist. But curiosity got the better of me. The message was short. "Hey man, I didn't know she was still with you. She said you guys broke up months ago. Sorry you had to find out that way." I stared at the screen for a while. I didn't reply. What was the point? Maybe he was telling the truth. Maybe he wasn't. Either way, it didn't change anything. But that message? It confirmed something I already suspected. She'd lied to him too. C wasn't just dishonest with me. She was a liar through and through, weaving whatever story made her look like the victim and everyone else the villain. It wasn't personal. It was just who she was. Not long after, I ran into one of our old mutual friends at a coffee shop. She looked surprised to see me, then gave me a hug and said, "Honestly, we all knew something was off with her. I just didn't know it was that bad." We chatted for a bit. She told me C had bounced around from couch to couch, lost her job, and had even tried to get back in touch with a few of our old friends, trying to tell her version of events, but no one really bought it anymore. "She's burning every bridge she had," she said. "And it's sad, but she did it to herself." I didn't say much in return. I just nodded. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. That's the thing about betrayal. It changes you. But if you let it, it can also teach you. I learned that love isn't about blind trust. It's about communication, respect, consistency. I learned that when someone shows you red flags, don't paint them white. Don't make excuses. And above all, I learned that walking away doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. I started going to therapy, just once a week. It helped more than I thought it would. Helped me sort through the anger, the confusion, the guilt. Helped me realize that her cheating had nothing to do with me not being enough. That was her choice. Her failure, not mine. I started focusing on myself again. I picked up old hobbies, got back into photography, started going on hikes, even took a short trip alone, just to clear my head. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was escaping anything. I was just living. Some days, I still think about her. Not because I miss her, but because I'm grateful. Grateful that I found out before we bought a house, before we got married, before things got too tangled to walk away cleanly. In a weird way, she did me a favor. She showed me her true self, and she gave me the gift of truth. Yeah, it came wrapped in lies and pain, but I'll take truth over illusion any day. One night, maybe 6 months after everything, I got another message. This time it was from her. It just said, "I'm sorry." No explanation, no excuses, just those 2 words. I stared at it for a minute, then deleted it without replying. Because sometimes closure isn't something you get from the person who hurt you. It's something you give to yourself. And I had already closed that chapter. Now I'm moving forward, slowly but surely. And the next time I fall in love, which I know I will, it'll be with someone who doesn't make me question everything. Someone who doesn't make me feel like I need to be a detective just to feel secure. And until then, I'm good on my own. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.